Look up, look up. There they go.
Come on down to my country.
All right, guys, that is the cave right there.
I'm unborn in the bright jungle light. That's why I always
We have arrived inside the sinkhole.
when I'm doing the jungle run. Oh, yeah. I wanna do the jungle run. Oh, watch me doing the jungle run. Come on and watch me do it. Oh, Lord, let me tell you why. Hey, man.
In Belize, the Chiquibul National Park and Forest Reserve lies west of the Maya Mountains and borders Guatemala for 35 kilometers. Its 420,000 acres, together with the Maya Mountains, make it the largest intact piece of rainforest north of the Amazon. It lies on the Cretaceous limestone of the Vaca Plateau, and the Chiquibul River has cut a deep channel eastwards, disappearing into one of the largest cave systems in the world, 12 kilometers short of the border. This forest is the last haven for the endangered scarlet macaw in Central America. It is also home to many endangered species. Although heavily logged over the last 100 years, the forest has maintained its integrity and is a stronghold of biodiversity. It is also a vital part of the Mesoamerican wildlife corridor, allowing species to move north and south. But there is trouble in paradise. Foreigners from across the border are freely exploiting its natural resources. A group of concerned Belizean conservationists have launched an expedition to experience this spectacular place and bring back a strong message to the world about a little-known part of their country which is now under siege.
Well, Friends for Conservation Development, actually we decided to pick the Chiquibul because in the first place we had been going there for quite some years. We had been going there for the past 10 years or so, and over the years more and more we have seen that there had been much more challenges and many more threats coming into the area. Also, we had actually noticed that there was not really any primary interest for doing any measure of management for the site. So we thought by joining efforts with PACT that certainly we probably could start up that promotional level.
The Protected Areas Conservation Trust PACT, we are a trust fund, so basically all our efforts are to ensure that we have a good steady supply of funds for protected areas projects on protected areas and conservation. We ourselves at PACT needed to find a mechanism, a way to excite Belizeans about conservation. So we thought of, well, let's do it as a trek, get the Belizeans out and about, if you will, into the forest area. FCD has done a lot of reconnaissance trips. They are very familiar with the Shate challenges. They're familiar with the lack of management presence. They were very keen on trying to see how this challenge could merge with their interest to integrate some sort of management presence finally into the Chiquibul area. They were also very keen on alerting us that the Chiquibul area was very instrumental with our border relations, meaning Guatemala and Belize, and that it was an interesting way on how we can use conservation or protected areas management to sort of assist in that national perspective as well. And we decided to merge the two.
The expedition gathers for final preparations and a launching ceremony.
Well, today is the first day getting ready for the actual expedition tomorrow. Today is to pack up, get everything organized. We take 2 years of planning. The route. The route is set. In terms of the expedition, there's the challengers, the expedition group, and the support teams. The support group consists of Las Cuevas, the Belize Defense Force, and some members of the police department.
Thank you all for being here, joining us on this very historic day. We're launching the first ever PACT Challenge 2005, and we've chosen Chiquibul to do this.
A lot of effort has gone into it, and apart from feeling good, with people that have the same vision, ultimately, to protect our natural resources. We feel that for PACT as a conservation organization, it is one more hallmark of our growth. I want to welcome our friends and colleagues from Conservation International, our Mexican partners, Mr. Carlos Manterola and Ricardo Hernandez.
The projects that we can work together, specifically in this area, in this particular area, which is the Chiquibul National Park, and especially because this is one of the most important key biodiversity areas in the Mesoamerican hotspot, which is one of the most important areas also for the conservation in the world.
The idea of the participation was to get the regulatory agencies who are responsible at the end of the day for the ultimate management of these areas to come in and see for themselves why this particular area warrants management presence, to recognize that PACT is in a position to facilitate that presence, being a trust fund, and to recognize the work of FCD as probably one of the leaders that can probably activate the presence and implement it on a day-to-day basis.
Somebody tell me I look like I'm going to chop cane.
Look, are you ready for anything? That's at the bottom line.
Ready for the jungle.
This is the fourth time I unpack and pack, and that's it.
I think I've never been as excited as this one, because it's probably the longest I'm going to spend out in the jungle.
This would be my first time, so I'm looking forward for a good adventure for today.
When the call came in inviting me to participate, the deciding factor was probably Chiquibul.
I found out when I came back after the holidays that I was on the list. I was very, very excited.
It was fun. I've been there before, but it's always a new experience. I mean, you see things that you don't usually see.
Oh, from this morning I was up from 4, so where did that put you? How excited am I?
I'm excited, pumped up, and ready to take on the wild.
And now that I see all of you here present, it really seems that this is really going to occur now, and I'm quite happy and glad for it.
Ready for the river.
Alright guys, let's start moving.
Our emphasis right now is for them to see it, for them to come feel it, for them to come connect, and then the decision is going to be righteous.
The river is low, throwing many obstacles in the path of the challengers. They are carried into an area of tall cliffs and overhangs, cut by the river through the ages. They now meet their first major challenge.
Alright guys, that is the cave right there. We're gonna start out right now with flashlights, but I'm gonna let Carlos Panti and Patrick Warrior take over from here. Carlos and Patrick is gonna climb, tie the ladder, and then we'll move from there.
Good job. Oh.
Which way?
Just watch your eyes.
They enter not only a cave, but a Maya temple.
This may have been an altar, or this may have been a ceremonial center for people down below to have seen. Looks like it was a large platform on that side, and then this rock here, there would have been architecture extending. You can see how it's fallen off there. It's probably extended out a little bit and then cut back again. The caves were a sacred space for the ancient Maya. It was believed to be the entrance to the underworld, where a lot of gods resided, right? Xibalba, or also known as Mitnal. And we think that maybe the Maya were actually going into these caves, traveling as far as they could get, and actually trying to get into the underworld to commune with these gods themselves. And so we think that some of the ceremonies that may have been taking place, especially deep inside of the cave, were probably directed to the rain god.
The energy that you get here is amazing, and I don't have words to explain it. It's just a feeling being here. No?
And just being here, it just provides, it gives you a different perspective completely.
They find an illegal chatero camp. A lucrative market in the cut flower business in Europe is a powerful incentive for poor Guatemalans. Having nearly wiped out the chate palm on their side of the border, hundreds of invaders are now scouring Belize on their quest for this leaf. The BDF secured the area.
They have been cutting this. They were here this morning. You can still see the smoke right in the campsite. You see how much leaves there is? It's about 1,000 in each one. They're working right now, and in the evening they come back again, bring more leaves, and until they have a good amount, they will they'll bring their horses and take them by horses.
The chateros are Guatemalans that come across the border and they harvest the chate palm. Young guys, little boys about 14, 15. They might have older men with them just to guide them through the forest the first time. You do know that they carry rifles, shotguns, because they have fired upon BDF patrols. They supplement their diet with our native wildlife.
This is like the worst that it's gotten now. Look at this thing here, Sherry.
They find a looted Maya artifact.
Looks like it was brought in. They're gonna take it.
We should carry it.
I think we
I
should too.
say we carry it.
I think you make that call.
We're taking this vessel. We believe that it came from a nearby cave or probably somewhere that they have been looted later, so it's might as well we take it out.
I mean, we're in the middle of the Chiquibull Forest Reserve, and it's a protected area, and it's amazing to see that we're having these threats and bringing all of these participants here. We have highlighted the issue.
They're looting, they're hunting, and they're destroying illegally.
One little hole and it's no good. You know, you can either ignore it or you can destroy it. And we're destroying it because we have to get the message out that we're not very happy and very supportive of this type of irresponsible and illegal extraction of the resources.
So this fight needs to be done on a higher level.
It's like a thin line. Like I feel sorry for them, and at the same time, I'm like angry for what they're doing.
There's lots of issues here, and it's really a big political issue right now.
They know that they can destroy what is in this part of the country and they can go back to their country and still do the same thing. The moment they start stealing everything from our country, then we would have nothing.
Seeing the chateras camps along the way, it's really depressing, as a Belizean. It makes you wonder what's really going on, Imagine we coming out here on this expedition having BDF along with us and police. It's like, why do we really need them? We should have been free out here, being able to do what we want and walk along the area and not feeling scared or threatened by anyone watching us along the riverbank or anything like that. But there's just got to be something that we can do.
Wild turkey.
The crested guans were really neat. Those are some big birds. We came across a bunch of crested guan feathers, and that shows that people are actually hunting and killing these birds. The chateros are capturing some of the scarlet macaw chicks out of the nests to take over to Guatemala for sale, because they take anything that they can make some money off. And that's really going to create a problem for the population of scarlet macaws, because there are not so many of those birds left.
This is it!
The group arrives at a famous landmark, the Natural Arch. Millions of years ago, the river flowed through a cave here. Gradually, the sides eroded away, leaving the arch standing. The arch echoes to the call of the slaty-tailed solitaire as the challengers stop for the night.
Belize is a small little country in Central America, but this area is very unique and has a lot to offer.
But the Chiquibull area is so wonderful. The forests, and the different birds.
I'm enjoying it so far. You know, but the only thing that I don't like is what I'm seeing. Our forest is being destroyed by foreigners. These chateros.
I can tell you that we're facing a huge challenge with this chickable forest with these chateros.
But how can we work along with them so that they can make their people create alternate livelihoods for those people that are coming over here?
FCD has established some partners already in Guatemala, and we just need to get some support.
And I believe that one of the reasons this can take place is because there's a market, a big market out there for it, right? Because when there's a demand, people will go for it, you know. We have to put pressure on our legislators, on our politicians, and our technical people, our bureaucrats. Get them out here.
You have to have people in this jungle moving back and forth all the time so that people can see someone in the area.
You know, we should not forget it, and it shouldn't go on the shelf.
And after this, we plan on sitting down with FCD again, because this is not the end. Sitting down with FCD to develop next steps. What will be the next steps after the PACT challenge for Chickable?
And I've seen this scarlet macaque in the jungle like this. I've seen it before, but in cages, not like this. It's awesome, man. See how they just scroll over the river like this.
Gentle.
The Chickable National Park is the last haven for these persecuted birds, of which only a few hundred remain.
It's a very soft wood. That's where the scarlet macaques build their nest also.
Wow.
Piggy girl.
The lush riverine forest draws wildlife like the tapir in the dry season. Male yellowtails call at their nesting colonies in the tall river fig trees. The river now leaves the forest and enters spectacular narrow gorges cut deep through the limestone.
I mean, Belize is said to be Mother Nature's best kept secret, and it really is. You don't have to go anywhere in the world. Belize has everything, everything.
My favorite quote in the whole world, where it says that, yes, it says that we have not inherited the earth from our fathers, but we're borrowing it from our children. Personally, I think it's the best trip I've ever been on so far, and would want my daughter in the future to see something like this, and so I feel that is why we need to act now. Now the challengers meet their greatest challenge of all.
Looking at we have enough water, enough lights, batteries, ropes, dry bags. Take your helmets, your lunch, water.
Everybody got your lights? Got your water, got your food, let's go!
I saw Emily train for 2-3 weeks like this.
The Chickable caves are only about not more than 3 kilometers from here.
At the last portion of it, we're going to put a rope because it's very steep. So for those who have their gloves, make sure you put it on and take your time coming down.
The challengers start their climb down into the underworld. The Chickable River has disappeared underground several kilometers to the east, passing far beneath them.
We have arrived inside the sinkhole that goes towards the Chiquibul chamber.
No snakes so far. That's good.
The sinkhole is a collapsed part of the cave system, which will allow them access to the entrance.
Try to have 3 contact points, you know, at all times.
This is their country.
Wow.
This is Aktun Kabal, the first of the 4 underground cave systems, which form the bed of the Chiquibul River. Together they stretch 35 miles and cross into Guatemala. This vast network of giant passages contains the Belize Chamber, largest known cave in the Western Hemisphere. The explorers moved down into the underworld of the Maya.
Huge pot back there. Real huge.
Yeah. Pretty much intact except for that little kill hole on the side. The Maya would often kill vessels to release their spirit. They believed that everything had a spirit. And they would often sometimes place large vessels like this underneath formations, underneath a stalactite to collect water that would have been pure. They called it zahoyha. That would have been used in rituals.
More than 2,000 years ago. It washed down by the water from its original place.
Because the Maya were very present. They had a very active presence in this area. The Chiquibul is a really interesting area. Caracol really isn't too far away from where we are right now. And it was a huge city center at its time during the Classic period. And there's been very little archaeological survey done in this part of the Chiquibul, sort of the eastern southern part. And this cave system is right in this area, and it'd be really interesting to look at the connection. I'm sure that the people from Caracol were coming down here.
Aktun Kabal floods in the wet season, leaving water levels painted on the cave walls. The flooding Chiquibul River boils up into these chambers each year through hidden passages deep beneath the cave. This huge chamber fills completely, and the challengers would be hundreds of feet underwater.
How deep did we go? 180 meters below the surface. From the entrance, it's about 500 and odd feet, 600 feet. I could say that I went 500 feet underground.
Progress through the cave comes to an unexpected halt, as the way is blocked by pools of residual water too deep and extensive for the expedition to cross.
The passage is flooded, man. It's too risky.
It's completely flooded then?
Yeah.
Okay, then we have to go back.
Then you know how far you gotta go.
Up top.
With mixed feelings, the challengers retraced their steps, sad with the knowledge that their journey through the Chiquibul was drawing to an end. But, like the Maya before them, with their pine torches, are happy to return to the land of the living.
Good to be outside.
On a Maya ceremonial terrace, the challengers perform a small ceremony of their own.
There we go.
A final moment together before returning to the outside world.
We made it back. I'm very impressed about the ladies and everybody in the team. You know, even though there are people from offices, they have been doing very great, and they seem that they are liking this very much, and I hope that we can come up with something out of this now.
The PACT Challenge has been a great success thanks to the support teams, you know, Las Cuevas, the BDF, everybody, my staff. I had a great staff who have been very supportive, and it shows that teamwork and commitment. You know, I'm happy for that. And I just want to place that Nia is the expedition leader. Would like to just close this expedition, put the end.
Thank you. We think by doing the challenge, we've excited people enough now and make them aware enough that they are now going to probably move with some aggression and putting that management presence.
As far as the next steps go, I mean, this is not the end, this is just the beginning of a management process for the Chiquibul. ecosystem, the Chiquibul Forest Reserve, the Chiquibul National Park. We hope that we really, in the next 2 years, really can have a nice phase going on there, where everybody really can be quite aligned, and we can have really more beautiful stories to tell about the Chiquibul into the future.
And the forest is going on, and the macaw is still flying there, and the solitaire is still singing. What's going to happen now? Who is going to speak for them?